Hada Diotima Sanchez Benassar, woman I've known for 10 years, who always makes me feel validated. On Skype, I've seen her in Barcelona, where I was her father's guest. I had lunch with her in Paris. I've even walked the bluffs above the cliffs of Dover with her. So an important person in my life. So what better thing to do than to take a little walk down memory lane to the affair that we had 10 years ago. She was a student of mine. Yes, I know that means I'm bad, except that she was an international student and was years ahead of everyone else. She'd studied biology for 2 years at Barcelona, dropped out, spent a year playing her guitar in the tubes around London, went back and was studying sociology, was already doing research with somebody there. So I got to know her through the international students thing, and we started communicating by email. And one day I ran into her across campus and told her that my son was going to see the Rolling Stones that night. I was taking him, he's 14. And she said, "Why aren't you taking me?" And my first thought was, I don't know, I wish I was. She was kind of cute. She looked like she was 13, but she was like 25, so. About a week later, I'm going to a really, really boring faculty committee meeting. And I'm communicating with her by email again, and I say, after this really boring meeting, I'm going to my temple at the Masonic Homes, where I will pray to my goddesses. And then I said, don't fall in love with someone who's crazy. And she wrote back, that's my line. I'd gone through a bad breakup, and maybe we healed each other, I don't know. But what happened was, I drove to the temple, and she was there. She walked a couple miles from campus, took a little nap there, told me about the squirrels running around the place. But then we sort of hugged each other, and I told her that my goddesses weren't real, but didn't matter. She told me that she'd had an affair with her sociology professor at Barcelona. Something kind of clicked in me then. I know I'm bad. Another couple weeks, and I'm giving a talk on campus, and she's supposed to be going with some friends from New York but can't afford it. So I'm saying, well, I'm going to celebrate after my talk on, I don't know, Shakespeare and consciousness or something like that. So I say, why don't you come in and help me celebrate it? So I pick her up on campus, and I play some Neil Young on my car stereo, and she says, he's famous. Like, I wouldn't know this, except Neil Young always makes me cry. And I think that did something to her. By the time we got to my house, we were making out in the foyer pretty heavily. And then, of course, we went upstairs. But I remember saying, just like a 12-year-old, oh boy, the first time I saw her. But she taught me how to say me gusta and no me gusta as a way to negotiate intimacy. So that was kind of good. We went to her sister's in New York City. She lived in Spanish Harlem. She was a philosophy student at CUNY. And I was a little bit late. She was going to meet me at the 118th Street subway station. And I was like a half hour late. And there was this beautiful woman in a beret and a long coat who'd actually fucking waited for me. I just was blown away. And her sister gave us her room for the night. What more validation could that be? We later drove to Niagara Falls with her sister, show her sister some more of America. And halfway through New York State, it starts snowing. And Hada's got a video camera in the back. And a cop pulls us over, lights flashing, you know, siren on. And she says, can I film it? And I'm going, no. But while the cop's checking out all my information, she and her sister are playing in the snow. Come on, they're from Spain. Give them a break. And then the cop goes, please return to the vehicle. Well, Niagara was like winter wonderland. It was like ice and snow, and it was just gorgeous. Hada and I got together many nights from there till the holidays. We'd sit up and watch L Word. Not only did she have an affair with her sociology professor, but she was a bisexual. and ended up being more lesbian than anything else. She's with her friend in Granada and will be pregnant by this next fall. But over over Valentine's Day, she realized I was getting in too deep. And she said, "How long has this been going on?" And I said, "Well, probably since you met me at the temple." I took my son home, who's 14, came back, and she was playing Mozart's Requiem. And I said, "Oh my God, you found the Requiem." And she said, "No, it found me." But we decided to stay friends anyway. In fact, I had her father and his girlfriend and my son and Hada cooked dinner, same kind of dinner I cooked for her, our first date. And when she left, she ran back in the house to give my son a big hug, and he was crying. My 14-year-old son almost never cries. And I said, "Why are you crying? You miss her? I'm going to miss her too." He said, "No, I'm not crying because I'm going to miss her. She was so good to you."